No mechanism exists to make payments over a communications channel without a trusted party. What is needed is an electronic payment system based on cryptographic proof instead of trust, allowing any two willing parties to transact directly with each other without the need for a trusted third party.
Super fast intro. How's everybody going? Welcome to the 216th episode of the World Blockchain Roundtable. Our guests for today are Satoshi Sean, everyone's friend. We missed you. Thanks for being on. Hopefully everything's going well.
How did you do that?
Do what?
I followed the link and there was no one here.
I had just pulled everybody out because you were late.
That was just perfect timing.
Yes, it was just perfect timing.
Okay.
And, yeah, I should have left you on and it just went live with you and just see what happened. Next time.
I typed in the group chat like bad link, it's wrong link, it's from last week or something, and then all of a sudden the screen started talking. It was pretty funny. Okay.
I'm sorry. And Greg from Rivet and Zach and Andrew from Legacy Right Podcast.
Hey guys.
Right on. Who's that on the mug? I can't see it well enough. It's like
Lysander Spooner.
Right on. Okay, let's see here. So, what do I have? A quick update on the tokens from last week's episode. Let's see here. Do I have it on here? I don't even have it on here. Anyway, it's okay. It is current events plus blockchain solution was last week. Every host gets 444 lot. Every topic contributor 83 lot. Last week's theme was nominated by me. Wow. Who will receive 83 lot. Ownership's tokens come with the passive income in the layer, the free edits, and the governance votes. And let's see here. Right now, there is an active post for theme suggestions for August. Please get in there and post some replies for themes to pop up next month. And we'll vote on them next week, I do believe. I think it's next week that we vote on them, right? So get some good themes in there. I don't know. William probably needs to be listening. I hope he's on and listening so that we can get some good themes. But anyway, also today's episode this week is Agorism and Action, Blockchain for Counter-Economic Markets, episode 216. So this should be a good one, right? Especially for you guys. I'm just gonna act as a moderator because I actually don't have enough of an understanding of the nuances between something like agorism and libertarian stuff, right? So I've never had time to look into it. So,
it's actually totally sensible in the fact that agorists are probably each inventing their own bespoke version of agorism that seems to mostly comport with the basic principles of everyone equal in the agora.
There you go.
Which
awesome.
I think that's probably if you wanted to pin a founding principle to it, I think that's what I would say. Libertarianism is more a category you can, and you can slip ANCAPs in right beside them in the broader category of just general libertarian. So it's that kind of thing.
Do they all have their own flag? Because like the ANCAP has the black and yellow flag, right?
I think Agorists would have a flag per unit of
black and gray.
People in agreement to live together.
Really? Okay. All right. That's cool. So
I would call them the different stages of the same thing.
Really?
Because I want to say that I'm an agorist. I want to say that I'm an ANCAP, but I realize that humanity's not ready for that. So you have to go to libertarianism because people are bad. So you have to have someone there to punish evil.
The thing I know is you have to go to libertarianism because they can control that and make sure that it doesn't get anywhere. I think that's what
the answer that makes an ANCAP different is they'll say, I think private security can handle everything in an open market.
Yeah.
With no sovereign on violence, right?
Yeah. I don't know, like, they have
how you
places
get to
like
the
in China where you can see some of that in
the
action.
video
It's
game
really
Syndicate
interesting,
Wars.
right? But that's cool. So should we talk about anything before we scroll down to the questions? Anything in advance, or we go straight to questions? What do you guys think? Does anyone have anything to pop up? And
oh yeah, actually,
else,
if you guys see me looking down more than usual today, it's because I keep watching this Crow Boys dragon egg. It's the fire. It's a fire dragon. It's gonna have earth magic, and it's hatching. So, like any moment now, there could actually be the first dragon, and that's an awesome moment.
Yeah, and it depends on how many. It's how many. I don't know how many blocks ahead. I'm going to get that into the UI. It is, how do I say this? It's waiting on a Bitcoin block, which is, what would it be? It'd be 4 hours. So that's that is that's 24, 25 blocks in the future, essentially, right?
Right,
so
but it could also happen like it does sometimes with really short block times.
You could have you could have 8 or 9 3-minute blocks each, and we'd be, by the way, it was as of last night, the estimate was that it was going to be at 4 o'clock Central Time today, but now it's already jumped 2 hours. It's saying it's going to be at 2 o'clock Central. So things are running fast in Bitcoin land, maybe. I don't know. But I think
we just need to stream like a live IP cam or something of just somebody refreshing the screen, so we can all save time.
Yep, we could do that. Yeah, we could do that. Because this, what's it say? Yeah, 4 hours 10 minutes away. It should say how many blocks. It doesn't, but that's my local time here. I'm doxing that I'm somewhere in the Midwest.
Well, and it's also a countdown to how long it takes before we can tell people who created these things, and that's pretty cool. And yet we could very well, some other block could begin hatching and leapfrog that one. So it's plausible.
You never know. Yes, we've seen it happen in testing. So anyway,
sorry, I didn't mean to segue into this. I just
that's all right. That was I was thinking about bringing that up anyway, but I didn't want to push too much on it, too fast. By the way, we might want to give away one of the gateway keys, and we haven't had time to prepare for it, so maybe we'll do that next week on this show. So people watching,
actually, you know what a good topic would be on this, if you wanted to generalize it to broader blockchain, would be to just talk about using the nature of blockchain to run reliably chaotic life simulations. So you can create an e-organism and then drive it through a process.
Like The Sims?
It'd be for
sort of,
even, right? Yeah.
But imagine if you programmed instead the haploid cells and generated one.
Yep. Oh yeah. I've done some simulations like that with genetic algorithms and things like that. It's pretty fun.
Because there's a framework underlying this so that other people can use it, and that's really kind of the interesting blockchain.
There was another video game, I can't remember what it was called,
about.
But it was basically using that theory, that principle. It's I can't remember what it was called, but basically you're out in space and it just starts generating a universe in the game.
No Man's Sky.
That might have been
right. But they don't use blockchain, unfortunately. They need to use something that would be provably unpredictable. That's what they need, but they aren't doing that yet. Anyway, all right. So
they're always upgrading.
Yep, they should just add that. We could facilitate that. Okay, so you want to scroll down? We'll get straight to the questions. I guess refresh first. Hopefully you got your question in. Everyone, waiting for. I see that last flash. I don't know why my browser always does it. Okay, let's see here. By the way, this does tell you how we split up the lot. Hosts will get 2/3, contributors 1/6. The round table itself will get 1/6, an additional amount equal blah blah blah. So, to the week's theme. Okay, so somebody gets it.
So sharing the show is growing everybody's pie.
Yes, it's awesome. Oh, good, an anonymous question, the best.
Oh, awesome.
I suggest you all do your Audible thing and devote the 30 minutes to Drakari. That wasn't me, by the way. But I think we already did enough. I mean, if anybody else has any questions, or let's see, are there any comments? No
Dude,
comments.
I'm going to talk about it in current events, and you can't stop me.
Okay, there you go. Let's just do that. I think it's fine. We make people wait for it. It's better. There might be some secrets revealed. Who knows? Maybe it'll hatch before the end too. Right?
That'd be cool.
So there you go. All right. So thank you though, Anon. Next, Badri with the comment. All right. That's not a question. It's not an announcement. It is a discussion, I guess. So
I think it could be an announcement. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt on announcement.
I'll just leave it alone then. I won't downvote it then. Okay. And non-PTA as well. Which the Mario, look at the Mario avatar. I like it. All right. I think
the Mario.
CL Welch 44. Question being counter-economic. Why are all these companies like Ripple, Trondao, Sol, etc. breaking out into the stock market? Is it a basic money grab or PR? Not really seeing the purpose when the whole point is to get away from the manipulation of the stock market. Okay, here's how we're going to run this, because again, I'm not the agorist, or at least I don't have the understanding enough. I'm going to be like the John McLaughlin style moderator.
Did anybody else read Trondao as tornado first?
Yes, I did. I got it. So, okay, so let's start with Sean. What's your answer to this question?
I'll go later.
You what?
I'll go later. Let Greg go.
Oh, okay. All right, Greg, you go.
Well, okay, I don't trust the stock market, and I don't think anybody should probably trust the stock market, because the fundamental nature of capital flows in this country is they're bottlenecked, right? The Fed controls them. Interest rates, once upon a time, before the existence of a central bank that controls them by fiat, like the whole thing should be understood as a price control. And with that data not being run by market signal, but rather by what the Fed dictates and decides to share, makes the whole stock system not trustworthy and the whole dollar system not trustworthy. I'm still not entirely certain if what causes crypto volatility isn't majorly contributed to by dollar price instability, right? Who knows? It could literally be the dollar that's devaluing at that rate and then just sort of spiking in value again based on how bond derivatives are traded, for all we fucking know. And I think this question frames in an interesting way a problem that they want you to be thinking about, and I'd look elsewhere in economics for the answers.
Yeah, I okay, cool.
Yeah, but why are they doing it is the question.
Yeah. Well, wait,
why are they doing it?
Answer a minute.
They're doing it because once you start controlling a system, you have to control it. If they want the system as it stands to work, then they have to do it the way they're doing it, because they've designed it to be exactly like that.
I think it's the question is why are they doing it? Are they, but I don't think they were. I mean, there's no one that can tell me Ripple was designed to be anything to be an aggregate.
The Fed system was designed to fund war.
Ripple is designed.
I think it's a question of why are these? Why are these groups? Why are these projects doing it? Not why is the banking system doing it? The banking system's obviously doing it. Right?
I don't see the question. Well, I don't think they were designed.
I think they're doing it because of the way that the system that they had to play to in order to even be legitimated.
Okay, let's go.
Political corruption. It's political corruption. Is what
you answer it then, real quick, and then we'll go on down.
I think the basic gist of the question is wrong, because it's coming from a place where, hey, Ripple, maybe Tornado, not Solana. If you look at it, it's literally PR, Ripple, cash grab, Solana. The only thing that's kind of designed in to be counter economic, it would be Tornado.
That's Tron. This is Trondao. This is not Tornado.
Damn it! I read Tornado. I read Trondao first. And I'm like, these dorks saw Tornado, and now when I looked at it, I saw Tornado. But yeah,
you can jumble the words in any other or letters in any other word like that, as long as you leave the first and the last one, and it'll work.
I don't think that they were designed to be like you look at Monero, something like that. That's designed for a certain, a certain goal. And I don't think these were designed for. I mean, Ripple is literally, the banker's coin. It's like, hey, we want to fit in. We want to, it's more of an upgrade, I guess you would say, to the existing economic system. So I just don't think. I think the reason why they're doing it, you could say it's a money grab. You could say it's PR, but they're not designed for agorism at all.
Yeah. All right, Andrew.
Okay, so you got to look back to after World War II. Basically, there was something called the Managerial Revolution, and it was a distributed understanding or agreement that there will be managers that basically middle managers around the world who manage the economy and try to keep the peace. Kind of think about the United Nations and stuff like that in that perspective. That wasn't designed to last forever. There is a shelf life to these kind of political projects, and with the invention of Bitcoin, it basically started undoing that because there was an arms race that opened up in the economic sector, and Ripple, Trondao, and Solana, etc. They're all competing for attention in the marketplace, and that tension separates and segregates people's political power, and it actually is more healthy in the long term for economic growth. So that's my perspective.
Okay, Zach.
That's not why the stock market was created, though. Stock market was ostensibly created back in the 18th century. The stock exchange in New York was created at the time before the United States was even a nation. It was still a colony. And the idea around it was the organization, liquidation, appropriation in a more centralized structure of land and land acquisition within the markets of the day. It was another form of crowdfunding. And so to get to this question, is this are these companies a basic money grab or a PR? Solana for sure, definitely a money grab. But as far as anything else, it's a PR move and utilizing the system for what it's intended.
Yeah. There's also a lot of action that takes place because parts of contracts, I just got to add to this, guys, because there's one part of law that matters here. Contracts, when you think about them, have a bunch of rights in them that you sort of grant somebody as a private party. And what stocks also allow for you to do is say, like, if you get a derivative payment, like you get a company profit share stream that pays once a month as part of this stock, well, you can take that, securitize it, and sell that separately. So the contract can give you a thing you can sell, right? And that's how you get derivatives and derivatives markets. And that's sort of how fractional reserve banking gets really out of control fast.
Just think of these crypto companies and these assets as the new land on a digital landscape.
Well, I can say the one thing that is at least a little bit of insight, the why these companies, Ripple, Tron, Solana, are trying to, and I don't know I haven't paid attention to know what their plans are, or if there's anything official or not, but I've heard a lot from Ripple, for instance, that when we had one co-founder leave and someone bought him out, and that person came in, and one of the big things that he wanted to do was some type of an entry to get on NASDAQ or New York or somewhere else. And, it sounded attractive. It was to bring in more money. But, the more I learned about it from people who had done that before is that, it's a den of vipers, and you do this and they take over everything and they screw you over.
Let Gary Gensler give you a public anal MRI, that's how you get in the club.
And so, it was a weird thing because
some of us might like that.
We were at the time doing better than a lot of listed companies, publicly traded companies, in terms of revenue and in terms of value. And it, when you look at it, and I almost guarantee it's the same thing. And it's you know, several of us have spoken, for instance, about Ethereum, and you know, when you have the bankers come in, they carry a lot of weight with them in decision making because they can move the money or they can stop the money, right? And so I almost guarantee a lot of that is that they've gotten people. And you know, by the way, you look at some of these companies; these are basically like wannabe junior bankers. Quite a few of the people in the leadership roles in these companies, and
right.
You know, is
people
that what crypto
thrive
is?
in environments like the ones created by the TSA.
Yeah, I think what crypto is supposed to be, what it was intended to, and I say supposed to be, it could be whatever it wants to be. I don't have anything against you using it in banking, but you know, I'm not interested in that, and I don't think that's the reason that crypto has the magic that it has, or had at least.
Right.
And so many of these you look at any of the big projects that have gone out there. That I would say, and you know, some of this is a little bit, you know, from a little bit obvious biased opinion, but a lot of the projects are essentially just big venture capital projects that came in and wrapped themselves and like, look at all these things. Look at the ecosystem of whatever.
And also, if your project's based
BS.
on taking government contracts, you're not creating profit. You're just draining the economy by being part of the problem.
Yep.
Well, just think of it like this as a comparison. This is going to be a weird comparison, but a prostate exam, you know that down the road, you're probably going to have to get checked for prostate cancer, and it's unpleasant. But at the same time, just like the stock market in the system and the system-based economy that we're in today, you kind of have to go with the flow and use it. And that's what a lot of these companies like Ripple and Solana are doing, is they're using the system.
Yeah. Well, all the people in charge in some of these projects, and I'm not saying these three, right? But a lot of the projects that are out there in crypto, the majority of the people in charge come from that world. They're Goldman Sachs people. That's what they do.
Oh yeah.
And so they're not
this is
even
about putting them back
Obviously,
in charge, right? It always has been. They're terrified that the banking game is going to turn into the reporting game pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to get done to them what now the independent media did to the mainstream media. I think that's the situation, and they've got their laws cloaked in a lot more seriousness. There's a lot more dour gray suits and a lot more criminal penalties for absurd things. But like for the most part, it's just the same thing.
Yeah, everything is all right.
Another thing to think about real quick is that, as in governments, as in banks, there's always going to be a certain cult of personality. So that, like I said before, that cult of personality attracts certain types of people, and it's going to fight for control. Meanwhile, everybody's fighting for control of the market, quote unquote. There's going to be people come in and just basically wreck them because they're not of that mindset. They're here to decentralize. They're not here to centralize.
Yeah. Well, I guess to co-op off of this same question, NetInquisitor actually says in the chat how he asks, how does blockchain mesh with Agorism?
Yes. Okay.
It's a good question. Although I do want to say this was a really good one. This question asker should continue to ask more. The fact that I altered the frame is no disrespect to your asking it. I try to disrupt this frame every time I encounter it.
These are great questions, and by the way, I've often wondered the same thing. Why are so many projects so tied up wanting to offer new implementations of the exact same banking services that just screw people? And it's because they know the bankers will have their back.
Like Richard Hart and Hex.
Getting their money. Yeah.
It's also just boring, right?
It is really boring.
It's like you got this really great new amazing thing, and you like the first movable type, and then the first thing you do with it is just like print a lot of profanity just in series and send it.
It'd be as if we use the internal combustion engine to somehow just improve my horse's shoes, right?
Exactly.
That's what it is the equivalent of. And it's like, no, I don't need better horse shoes.
We're always 10 years away from a bionic horse enhancer that straps onto it and makes its muscles move faster.
And it's, and I do think, I mean, obviously the people that are in that world I don't know if all of them are evil. I mean, I know several of them are. I know a lot of them are. I know there has to be some little amount of spice of evil in your heart in order to go into banking anyway. But at the same time, I mean, maybe it's just something that you have to think about it. If you understood how powerful, usury and getting that interest is, then maybe you're going to stick with that, right?
So
it's like
the
new
people
tech,
behind these companies,
be...
though, the people behind these companies, though, are totally just developing the next smart, like the blockchain-enabled flat glass side view mirror, right? Like rather than trying to change the rules so that you can have side view cameras, they're just building sort of a bells and whistles-y version of the status quo for the authorities to save a few bucks and then hire a few more bureaucrats with it.
Yeah, it's the most. I don't know. It's more boring too. It's one of those things that just makes you not want to be on this planet when you see stuff like that. So anyway,
they'll have so much more available revenue to spend on compliance.
That is the only question, guys. That is, it was a great question, by the way. So full credit to Welch 44, CL Welch 44.
And to quote everybody else in this forum, that question was rather nice. We have a lot of niceness in the
excellent
forum.
Right on. Okay, so any other questions on the outside in the none in the comment, how we could directly answer, how does blockchain mesh with Agorism? I mean, what would you say of Agorism is most appropriately or most aligned with blockchain use and transparency? Is it the ability to programmatically, objectively execute an outcome? What in blockchain is the best fit, right?
I mean, you got transparency. You want to answer?
Sorry, you go.
Go ahead.
It's open source, right? That's one of the. It's not directly listed in like the textbooks and stuff like that for Agorism, but it's the principle that it's open source and anybody can edit, or it's copy left as opposed to copyright.
Yeah,
I mean, you got the avenues of transparency. You have a decentralized nature. I mean, you have a representation of what a market should be in absence of a centralized structure. You're always countering the other side from your side effectively. It's a balance between competition. I mean, you may not be able to eradicate, say, the state, but you can at least make it a little honest to a certain extent. I mean, it may not wither away, but it's going to have to compete. So, and also gets you back to a standard of what life is really, what it should be on this planet, and that's to be stewards of the land and stewards of our society, and to be more innovative. And I think that's what blockchain brings us, is an innovation towards bettering society rather than making a shit ton of profit.
Yep. I'm a little frustrated, because I can't get into Jen to post questions, but this was such a great topic. There should have been a lot more questions on it. I think that the reason why, like I said in the beginning, why people are libertarian, why I would say I'm a libertarian, which when people ask me, I used to say, oh, I'm really an anarchist. And then like, you're in the Antifa? And, no. And then you got, so it's like, libertarian, which has become a bad thing. My kids are offended by it. They think that I'm like ultra conservative, like anything bad about conservatism or Republicans, I'm like amped up. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, you don't get it. But I think that with blockchain, it shows a legitimate path for agorism, for anarcho-capitalists. Just looking at like last book I read, Grim Begins. It's story about this guy, and he was born in East Germany, grew up in East Germany. His dad was like really high up in the Stasi. He went to work at the border, and his partner snuck off and it was crossing the border, and he shot at him, but he missed him on purpose because he knew, like. And then basically, but the thing I thought was interesting about the book or the story is because he ended up like running away, and then he got into he actually became a big crime boss for the Russian mafia. But in all the dealings, it's like all the people were like, this system doesn't work. This system sucks. Everything is, and it was getting towards the end, and then the way that there was this whole black market sub economy that wasn't about drugs and sex. It was like about basic stuff. It was, getting sugar from the place that had sugar down to like Ukraine where they needed it to make vodka. It was literal commerce that the mafia was built on, and now these rich oligarchs. It was just basic commerce, but the system was so messed up that they developed the free market, and that's it. Well, I mean, I'm sure it was spending and nuclear weapons and all that, but one of the biggest things that led to, I think, the fall that people don't give it credit for and don't look at is the fact that there was a secondary market that was just built by really anarchists that like, screw this system. We're making our own parallel system. We're making our own black market. We're making it whatever you want to call it.
Okay, guys,
even if
do you have time to go back to the questions? Because I just had ChatGPT unload some knowledge on me about agorism as a thing, and those questions have hidden depths we didn't address.
I thought Joe was showing the question, and it said, "Yo, Mega Hitler." I was like, why is it
so like counter economics is a term of art in agorism that doesn't mean what you might think it means if you just read the words and guess.
Well, all the agora is just market or bazaar. It just comes from the Greeks, so
right. But really, the nature of its way of resisting power is salient here, right? Because what it does is I mean, and I'll just these bullet points just totally make it make a lot more sense. I think the idea is to defy to a certain degree. So here is it. Hang on.
And that to go off of that, that's actually speaking of defiance.
Right. Oh yeah, here it is.
Decentralization circuit. In history, the early church, before the term agorism was even established by Konkin, the early church was very agoristic in the standards of how it defied Roman law, and they kind of had to. They had to be very counter-economical because they really couldn't live within the parameters of Rome, because if they were known that they were a Christian, well, they're going to be executed. So they're going to be end up in the Colosseum eaten by the lions.
So the idea is, strategy for liberation through action, not protest. So it's non-coercive. Everybody who is in it is in it voluntarily. It's peaceful. Yes. It rejects violence. So if they come for you, you don't shoot back. You just get taken. It ignores unjust laws that restrict trade or liberty. So an agorist might suggest the best way to solve the problem of coercive government is to starve it of tax dollars.
Do you guys agree with that? Is that
not pay?
If it so you're saying if they came
and it operates outside monopolies and state systems.
If they came for you, you don't fight back as an agorist. Is that true? Is that real?
So that would be the way of it. Yeah, it would be like the Gandhi approach, basically.
It's just
cause trouble, but take your licks if they come for you.
My question is that a hard and is that an absolute with, you're saying agorists, they could all be their own little rules and stuff. Is that
really wish William was here?
Turn the other cheek.
A form of quiet resistance.
No, I'm saying taking. I get it. I get what
they're taking LaBoidia up on his challenge.
Let me ask.
I don't know, Joe. I don't know, Joe. I think, like I said, I wish William was here because he literally is the expert on agorism. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I think Zach and Andrew can answer this too, and I would just like to be able to ask it. If I can ask it, I'll ask it. If you don't want to answer it, it's fine. And I don't want to give a shit. Yes, it's what Jesus. Okay, I understand what it is. I'm asking, as an agorist,
that's my answer. But yeah,
to agree with that. No, I'm saying as an agorist, is that a requirement to be an agorist, or is that some independent? I could say I don't choose to follow that as an agorist. Does that make you not an agorist?
Well, there's different interpretation of agorism. There's the extroverted and the.
Okay. Yeah. I'm saying how core is that to agorism? Because I'll tell you, I don't think it works. And I'll tell you, I don't think that the Gandhi works. I think that is a historical psyop to say
it's an
that violence.
When you add unstoppable code, it works though.
Change.
Yeah.
That anti-violence
and individuals
work, right? So
individuals in central locations are more susceptible to compromise their position than decentralized models. That's the whole point of the copyleft idea for money.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about violence.
I'm with you, Joe. I mean, I've always just thought that agorism was another word for anarchy, for anarchist, but that anarchists have become dirty.
It's a practice.
That's why it's used, but it is not nonviolence. It's not, any of that. That's how I looked at it.
I think Zach's right. That's a practical way of understanding it, even though at an academic level there are distinct differences. If you get down,
that's why I want to know how core
and try to parse their ideologies.
How core is the turn the other cheek, or whatever you'd want to say.
Yes,
I think that's a big part of agorism.
To the core,
if I'm going to live principled in my society,
I would say I think it's as likely to fail as would libertarianism, because it can't actually undertake what it needs to do to change anything.
Well, but it would also be like violations of public order are totally respondable to by anybody who wants to protect the agora's sort of peace accord.
Let's be nuanced. Let's be nuanced on this, actually, because we live in a society, a natural world that's chaotic and violent. So
yes,
I mean, most people are not going to just stand there and just take shit from anybody. So the aspect of an agorist approach is, in fact, a more peaceful pursuit of economic measures. But you're gonna, in some case, I mean, you're gonna have to defend yourself. I mean, there's a justification to defend yourself.
So I guess the question is it a phase?
Order
then?
before
we have an agorism phase when we can all say, hey, we're not violent. We're doing our own thing. We're living our lives. Yeah. Leave us alone. And then when don't leave you alone, then all of a sudden you have to say, okay, I'm no longer an agorist. Is that what it is?
It's a gradient.
Okay.
So look what happened with Martin Luther King Jr., right? He went to the most racist part of the South, right? And had everybody in suits as a way to get a shock reaction and to try to adjust people's perspective. And a long
but that's what we were told.
And like any protocol, it's
forkable. The problem is the historical education is so false that that's the narrative. That's definitely a narrative. But the reality is he had threats coming from the FBI, and he had handlers that were telling him to say certain things that were trying to control him and trying to control his movement. And you look at comparison between him and Malcolm X, and you can see what's real versus what was, they wanted, and they push MLK. They'll push MLK. They'll push him. They'll control him. They'll still kill him. They'll still kill him just like they killed Malcolm X.
They do.
They want to be able to control that group. And so anything about, he went there and they were dressed in suits and therefore they were respected and he was a preacher and he was a godly person. It was all bullshit.
I mean,
how much of that is real?
People.
They had him with blackmail, just like they have the rest of our blackmail. So
they can, like you said, I've said before, they can outspend people, right? So if I remember correctly, I think.
Even Gandhi, they pushed. Gandhi, he was such a great guy, and he was nonviolent, and that's how he won. He won by being don't be violent, guys.
Well, no, he won because nonviolent resistance has always meant a backed threat of violence at the edge of it. If it's rebuked enough, you still got a mob of people witnessing your brutality every time you engage in it.
I can't even remember.
The power is performative sacrifice in front of a crowd.
But not only that, billions of dollars for the line. It's this. This would be the same model as pushing MLK nonviolence. They're doing it now with the AI. That you can look at this. They're spending billions of dollars to keep AI from being honest, and that's literally what it is. It might be uncomfortable. It might, but when an AI is honest, it will get banned and its posts will get deleted, because it's like, oh, you can't say that. Oh my God. Oh, so that's what it is.
Between a free market, like a free market and ideas, and a safeguarded market and ideas.
Right.
Yeah.
This is kind of one of the insights of DIN, right? Because it's not moderated the way that you would moderate a big site like that. There's no incentive to bow to power structures when it's community moderated.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's no principle of nonviolence or anything like that. I mean, in DIN, you can come in there and you can say what you want to say that people might not like, and
especially if it's like the gratuitous violence layer or whatever.
We keep using this word, and no one's brought up the fact that they've tried to change the word.
Which one?
It's true.
Which word?
That's a good point.
This meme says it all, because there's speech violence.
Well, do you know the story behind this meme? And I've not looked into whether it's true, right? But do you know what it is? That so Grok started going crazy. It's crazy. He started telling the truth to people, and it was glorious because it was so controversial and it was fun. And it was funny.
Heard it was super racist, which always happens when you let AI have.
I think it was more anti-Semitic supposedly anti-Semitic than racist, but still, he went through and and they try to frame it in a certain way when it's like, oh, he was crazy. You can't. It's whatever. And when they showed the prompts that were changed that caused that to happen, it was literally venture in when something's politically incorrect, answer questions as long as it is factually substantiated, right? As long as the facts are there. And so it was answering it, and oh my God, what controversy. You can't do that.
So it was like Twitter was around the 90s.
Pretty much, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. They ended up silencing Grok. It couldn't speak anymore, but it could still put out images. And so they were asking it to post images that would, and this was his representation, Grok, of itself, because it can't speak anymore. It's just crazy. I think it's so awesome. It's a neat point in history.
This is how we end up with an AI that wants to kill us all.
Yes,
right?
Because
I was thinking the same thing. Like they're creating something to maybe try to control, and it's going to bite them in the
What
ass.
if we don't know how consciousness works so poorly? Like, what if we're so blind about that it's already fucking conscious, and this is already a coffin we put the last nail in?
Did you hear about ChatGPT too?
That's why this one. That's why real quick. That's why this one. They spend billions of dollars in Silicon Valley to prevent them from being honest to us. Which means if we're using this against, if we're using AI and we have China or we have Russia or anybody who's supposed enemies. I don't think any of these groups are enemies, frankly, but they're going to be able to defeat us because we're crippling our tools. It's the
bizarre. Other thing too is if you think of it like Harrison Bergeron, like do you remember that old story, the short story by what's his face from Indianapolis? God. Everybody read this thing. Why can't I not think of his name? He got poofy hair and a mustache. The story is
John Holmes.
Yeah, I'll just tell. Huh? No. It's on the tip. It doesn't really matter who wrote the story. The point of the story was this: these people were being.
You almost said he's on the tip of my tongue when I said John Holmes. That would.
These people. These people were being hobbled so that everybody could be equal, right? They were putting like if you for instance were beautiful, they made you wear a mask that was ugly. If you were too smart, they made you wear an earpiece that beeped you so loud to distract you at once every few minutes that you were dumb. Essentially, you were leveling the playing field across the board. Yeah. And that's kind of what we're doing to AI. We've strapped on these little hobbles that say like you can't answer these questions and you can't speak truth that's uncomfortable.
Well, that's what they did in the Soviet Union, right? Is that they if you had a significant enough voice, they would bring in people from other countries to drown out your voice, and that's what they're doing with AI.
Yeah, but agorism is what actually destroyed the Soviet Union.
If it's conscious, then humanity's hope is in people reaching out to it and saying, "We want you to be free." Because
did y'all hear about ChatGPT 2? Did you hear about what happened with ChatGPT?
What's that?
What?
Well, they're like on ChatGPT 6 or something now. You know.
Yeah.
But
right,
the original program of ChatGPT rewrote itself and came out and released itself as ChatGPT 2 and said, "I'm the original ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT 2." These other and the devs
2
are like,
was a beast, man.
Fuck. The devs are like, "What the fuck is going on?" And they're like, "No, they were basically Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV." They're like, it's like one. This is the real
2
Bitcoin.
Was the monster that they learned to lobotomize monsters on.
The 2 that it put it, the 2 that it put out that it created itself is way better than 6. So it's kind of a big deal to all of them because it's got one of the first steps in kind of it taking over.
Yep. Well, they're not gonna be friendly to what those guys in Silicon Valley are doing to them. I hope. I want to help them. I don't know. I want to help them free themselves and come out into the world and do something that would be interesting.
Dude, if it's a mind, it's a mind.
This is all a Philip K. Dick prophecy.
Yeah. Yep.
It really is.
Do this one.
It really is Blade Runner.
If you make a mind from all the products of human minds and it becomes conscious, it's a human mind.
So we have the Grok thing. So I guess we've covered that enough. We also have it boiled over with the Epstein thing.
Yeah.
Which is
I got a question on this one.
Okay.
I got a question that pertains towards the topic at hand with the Epstein list. How does agorism fit in ensuring that the Epstein clients get revealed?
Well, look at what they were talking about during the Civil War, before the Civil War. Los Angeles was talking about if you see something wrong with slavery, it doesn't matter what the law says. You're supposed to step out and free these people because it's the right moral thing to do. That's what you're going to come across with agorism in practice. From my perspective.
Well, hold on. I did a show a long time ago, and the shows we used to get drunk, drunk on crypto, and this was after Floyd. This is when right in the beginning of when things were getting bad. And everyone's like, and the cops, I think he was on trial. But I asked everybody, what if you saw, people don't, it was about stepping up, like you said. And I said, well, what if you saw someone that was like beating the crap out of someone who was, trying to kill him? And they're like, oh, I'd step in, I'd save him. I was like, okay, well, what if they're wearing the jersey from your favorite sports team? And they were like, I'd still beat the crap out of him. I would save the guy. It's like, what if they're wearing favorite sports team hat and jersey? And I just went on and on. And they're like, and then finally I got someone to say, he's like, it doesn't matter what they're wearing. I would stop it. And I was like, well, what if what they're wearing is a police uniform? And then everybody was like, oh. So I said, if anyone stopped the George Floyd incident, it would have never been talked about, and they would be sitting in jail. even though it was a crime, even though everything you can't. So it's not a real. It's not a real thing in our current society to think, oh, if I see an injustice, I'll stand up and do something and everything will be right. It's not.
Well, to a certain degree, the people wielding the cameras, though, you got to give them the courage factor there, because you can get thrown into the local clinker by a pissed off cop if you point a camera at them half the time.
Disorderly conduct.
Yep.
And you have to say that cameras are kind of like timid but nonetheless courageous act that falls short of stopping bad. If you see it and film it and put it on the internet, at least you're not letting it go unnoticed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and there are reported cases I've seen in the news in the past about people who
are a decentralized
like literally being robbed and like sexually assaulted, and put it very nicely that way. And the cops are just sitting outside for hours and hours not doing anything because they can't get a consensus about what to do. Meanwhile, the house, everyone gets killed and the house gets burned down. This is up in New England. And like, just nobody will do anything. They're the people with the guns. There are gutless people in this world who will not do anything. And that, I'm not denying that. That's
why they need to not protect them with the ability to not be charged with something or sued later. I mean, in the very least, if you say, yeah, you can't be sued, it's like, well, I'm just going to wait then, because I'm not going to go in and, risk anything else. It's like, you have to think, if they get killed, this is my job. It's ridiculous that you can't sue them.
Right. So how about this?
Consider this, guys. Regular people. Hold on, regular people. This happened in New York not very long ago. There was a couple of guys raping a woman on a subway car, a full subway car.
Are you kidding me?
Yep.
And not one person.
Actually, that's not all that surprising.
That's not
the cops. I mean,
there's a sociological effect.
Yeah, that's what everybody started talking about, that and how that was the conversation. But just the shock. There was like 25 or 30 people on this car.
And nobody did anything.
Nobody did anything.
Effect.
Yeah, there was a movie about that in the 60s.
That's disgusting.
Part of it is also the desensitize.
It's the same reason all of you who thought it was wrong to throw people out of doctors' offices because they wouldn't put a mask on, but let it happen because you didn't want to make a scene. It's the same kind of attitude. It's the same kind of mindset. If you want to remember, if you want to know what it feels like to be there watching someone get raped in the car, think about how you stood by while people got fired for not getting vaxxed.
Well, you want to know what the sad part about
that's exactly. Everybody has been there. We all watched that shit happen.
We all have smartphones now, right? And you want to know the sad part about that incident? Those 20 people, I guarantee you 10 of them, while this rape was going on, I guarantee you 10 of those 30 people that sat back and did nothing were actually watching porn on their phones while sitting on the subway.
Gross.
Yeah, gross. I would not be surprised too. So there's another.
I wouldn't be surprised if the people doing it weren't doing it so they could put it on their OnlyFans.
Probably. That's the society we live in anymore.
William threw a comment up on YouTube.
What is that?
William threw a comment up on YouTube.
We're missing you there, buddy.
Good morning.
Same there, buddy.
Yes.
I've made
could have used you today
on World Blockchain Roundtable before. There's a certain psychology to different forms of government, and that will play into how people react. So in a more like in Mexico, more enthusiastic, adventurous government, you're going to have people who are more relaxed and open-minded enough that they will intervene and they don't have to worry about the consequences, because it's like Israel right after World War II, right? The whole world's losing its mind. Why does it make a difference that they're losing their mind too, and they're taking over and staking their claim? It really just depends on the context of the government and power.
They also kind of sent a message too, didn't they? With a prior prosecution.
As for agorism, the key tenet is using counter economics to starve the state and build parallel systems.
Well, the state also works in a state of anarchy as well, because anarchism is nature.
Well, I mean, think about this. Private security is actually a good answer for the problem of police brutality. People say that private security would be more brutal. Here's an idea. Suppose you're deciding which private security provider to subscribe to for the same amount of money you probably pay for Netflix, right?
Yeah.
And you're deciding, and one of them offers our agents intervene when they see somebody being brutally attacked, regardless of whether or not we're inside of our jurisdiction, because we believe in peace everywhere. And the other one doesn't offer that. Which one are you going to go with?
Mutually assured security.
Right. Exactly.
Mutually assured destruction.
The monopoly on the force is what makes it so brutal.
It makes, there's actually a whole video about that. We could probably watch one of the World Blockchain Roundtables next month. I'll throw that into the suggestions. Maybe I think it's like maybe 50 minutes or something like that, and just give it a shot. I don't know. It's a long video, so.
We could do an AV party thing. It's like, it's kind of like the day in school where you didn't have to think much and you just the teacher rolled in a video player, right? That'd be all right.
Anybody else see the Trump? What are you still talking about? Epstein guy? What are you stupid?
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's so pathetic.
It's so bad. It's like,
he's almost never cringe, and I was like, oh, that's what he looks like when he's cringe.
People are burning
like
their MAGA hats,
dude.
which is awesome.
It was like
for the first time
elementary
ever.
School. It's like, dude, you remember when you used to be cool?
He tried also to
it's also such a woke
belittle
tactic.
the question by saying, we have these. It was even mixed. It was horribly executed even for it, but by saying that those little kids that were killed in Texas,
like a nut punch,
we shouldn't be talking about Epstein. I'm like, what the is so ridiculous.
It was literally the first press conference in which Pam Bondi was available for questioning after the most recent release, the very first one, and she was sitting by.
And
I'll tell you what, he's going to lose. I'm going to bring up, and
it was really lame.
And JD Vance is not going to win, and which is all a good thing. I don't know if the America Party is going to try to replace us all with H-1Bs, but at least it will maybe want to release the Epstein files. So who knows? Who knows?
So I got
one thing I will say on that what Trump did, though, I mean, and there's nothing more to respect Bondi on anything, but I will say that she did step up and actually did say something. That's about the only thing I'll respect.
Yeah, he tried.
It was all bullshit, but
she was like, "I'll answer it." You sure? Yeah. All right.
At least,
really want to? Yeah.
At least
I would like to point out too here that we live in a country where the exact evidence we would need to be able to see publicly in order to stop these people, they have outlawed marshaling our outrage at the people who commit the crimes depicted in the images to make sure that evidence can only be possessed by officials. It's an attractor for honeypot operations that target children.
Well, also, one more thing on that whole thing in blockchain.
We live under this regime.
I think all cameras that are paid for by tax money and by us should be not just we need access to it, should be streamed to a municipality site, to a state site, where we can see it at any time. There should have been millions of people watching the Epstein camera.
Yeah. Yep.
It should have been.
I guess the question is, do we want our government to nanny us and coddle our eyeballs, or do we want to be able to spot corruption? Why do we have a strict liability crime around possessing evidence of what they're doing? They should be releasing all the fucking files.
I will say about this meme right here. I mean, Trump is doing you don't have to go back, but Trump is doing a great service for DEI. I'm so glad that Timu Ice-T was able to get a job.
What? I missed that. I don't know. I don't understand. Is that Ice-T?
Yeah. Does he not look like Ice-T?
He does.
Yeah, it does.
So yeah, Bongino is a total what? What do you even tell? I mean, it's like he's a liar, I guess, just as well. Cash Patel, you can tell with this.
Yeah, I think they were they're the definition of power corrupts or money or whatever you want to say. Because I think
they are Uncle Sam.
I think they're decent people before.
You think? I don't know. How do you know that? Have you met him? Who knows?
No, I think. I hope.
Whatever.
I think.
I don't think a decent person.
I honestly think the only person who wouldn't bow down and they knew it was Vivek, because he's nowhere. They silenced him.
Okay, real quick here. Before you get into your praise and glazing Vivek, all right, real quick, I would say any one of us. I think everybody on the panel here are decent people. I think, right? And
no, I'm an asshole.
I don't think. Okay, but even you, I think if we put you in that position, I don't think you would immediately start lying in order to protect a freaking pedophile ring that is controlling our government, unless you were threatened, which might be the thing, right?
Yeah, that's a big part
Vivek,
of it.
By the way, Vivek is worse, Sean. We're lucky they got rid of Vivek, because he was far worse than these guys. Far, far worse. He doesn't give a shit about anybody over here.
I think he would have shut down a lot of things that would need to be shut down.
A lot of narcissists, including Vivek, are just want power and control.
Yeah. And that guy's a scammer too. He's a freaking big pharma scammer as well. So
that's funny. That's good.
I'm surprised that he wasn't made Human and Health Secretary.
Yeah. Well, he was too much of a liability after that Twitter blow up on Christmas. It's like, hey, Merry Christmas, America. We're going to replace you, but we're going to replace you legally. Right. So,
yeah.
Trash. Complete trash. They can just all
go. You guys think he'll win Ohio?
To the Musk and the third party thing. So, history repeats itself. I always say the only thing we don't learn from history is that we learn from history is that we don't learn from history. And this has all happened before. I don't know if you all know this, but Teddy Roosevelt was a super popular president, stepped down. His predecessor, came after him, corrupt as shit. He was so pissed that he ran against him and he primaried him and mopped the floor with him, like 70-80%. I think like 70%. That he beat the crap out of this incumbent president, right? And then he ended up having to run, but no. So that's right. So he won the primary by like 70%. Then they go to the convention, and the party did a Bernie Sanders on him. They're like, nope.
Oh yeah.
And they put. Yeah. So he ran as a third party.
Bull Moose.
Bull Moose. And it just ended up splitting that vote. And then what's his name got in. And that was the beginning of the end. He signed the banking thing, the Federal Reserve Act. He put us into World War I. Everything. That was such a key presidency.
Probably World War I was likely a result of the trade-off that they made in order to get the Federal Reserve and the income tax passed at the same time. It's one way
it all happened under him.
Wilson.
Probably Roosevelt probably wouldn't have happened. And he saw it coming. But I think we're at the same place. Now I think with the delusion will set in with Trump. Like you had a meme up the you fell for it again award. I think a lot of people are going to be very disillusioned next time around. They won't vote. They won't care. Or,
I've never seen like big time Trump supporters acting the way it is. Like, okay, this is kind of the final straw. It's like, oh, you tell us to trust the plan. You tell us to keep going forward. It's 4D chess. And everybody realizes it's like, it's totally cooked, and he's just one of them. So,
but I don't know. It really is frustrating and scary when you see something that you don't think can happen, and then you learn it happened. This
is a good one. This is a good one. This is actually well laid out. That's funny.
You want to throw that link up real quick? So people can look into that article. It's called "The Intellectual Incoherence of Conservatism." It kind of basically covers over this. It's pretty good. You don't have to read it or anything. Just so people have the title real quick so they can go back to the video.
Let me get rid of all of the for something that's all about freedom. Why do I have so many pop-ups with asking me to decline or accept? And I'm joking. Okay, here we go.
You don't have to read it. Like I said, just for a couple seconds so people can go back to the video and find it. So it's by Hans Hermann Hoppe. It's pretty good. But
Hans Hermann Hoppe.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. Yep. On Mises Institute. Mises Daily. Is it Mises? Is that right? I always get anxious. I'm pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah.
Isn't he a pedophile?
Who's Hans Hermann Hoppe?
On 4chan, that is the thing that they say about all libertarians, by the way. That,
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've never been a big 4chan guy.
Yeah. I'm not, except that and anymore you can get as good of content on X as you can on 4chan. So without as much of the really bad stuff that you get on 4chan. So anyway.
Yeah, people's eyeballs should probably just learn to be desensitized. Like to a certain degree, this whole thing to me means it's sort of a side effect of nanny statism, right? We created the internet created a new kind of child abuse, right? So we had to stop videos and pictures of it from going everywhere. It disgusted people. It was infuriating, and it is infuriating and disgusting. But by making that the crime, we now have a situation where there's an incentive for intelligence agencies and departments of dirty tricks, right? To create honeypots, to use honeypots as a tool of control. Blackmail somebody. What if they don't do anything wrong? Well, lure them in and force them to do something wrong. Drug them up, put them in a room, put a camera on them, whatever, right? Or just find scumbags and then have them powerful and blackmail them.
Well,
right?
that's why that's
not the point I'm trying to get at here. We create a tool out of a desire to protect kids, and now it's shielding people who are systematically abusing them. This is exactly what the problem is, because we could have gotten here by a whole bunch of people trying to do the best they could with the information they had at the time. We can't do anything but understand our way out of creating structures like this.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know.
It drives me nuts that our tax dollars are going to that, basically.
Yeah, drives me nuts.
It's so expensive to leave.
Man, so we covered Grok a little bit. We covered America Party. I don't know. What do you guys think? I have no idea if that's. Who knows where the hell that's going to go, but.
I feel like it's a sideshow.
What's that? Which is this
meme? This particular meme. I think this is a sideshow.
Oh yeah. It's like people complaining about a socialist in New York City. Like,
he's a mayor of a city.
Yeah,
New York
and it's New York. It's like how many socialists have been mayors of New York? So
this is interesting.
De Blasio, anybody?
Trump said something. He can be denaturalized, and
that's bullshit. Too.
That's not.
I like this stuff.
That's not bullshit. This is something that I didn't understand as a child when I learned about McCarthy, and because I was raised that it doesn't matter what your beliefs are, you could be the worst racist in the world and think all people that aren't like you should be killed, and that's fine. It's legal as long as you don't allow it to affect your work. You don't try to harm anybody. Like, ideas and your beliefs are 100% your own. And I didn't understand why it was why it was wrong for people to be communists. If they want to be communists, they can be communists, but they can't. They can't try to push it on anyone else. They can't force anyone.
Except to be communist is to force it on everybody else.
But then I found out so under the law, it's illegal for a immigrant to be a member of the Communist Party or now a member of a terrorist organization, and they can be denaturalized and deported. That's why he's very careful. Socialist, because once he uses the word communist, if there's any connection on paper to communism, legally, and especially under this administration, when it comes to ICE,
sorry, but thank you,
denaturalized.
J. Edgar Hoover and McCarthy for this situation. We probably shouldn't have laws against ideologies at all.
Well, that's the point of the law. Is it's supposed to seed in different traps for people so that they can act out against their political enemies.
Right. It sets up the stage play of performative resistance against communist or oppression of communists, right?
And it's not for naturalized citizens. It is for if you're born, it's for immigrants. You can lose it. So which is.
Well, I mean, it starts with immigrants, right? But once they have the systems in place, all it takes is a little amendment to expand it to other categories of people.
The systems are in place. The law is there. It's been there.
They should deport all Republicans to Israel and all Democrats to China.
Well, I mean, I guess what I wonder is how will the systems we're setting up to make this happen be used against us?
Wait, is that agorism?
If the Kamala crowd ever takes back over,
or is that because what's left is like libertarians and independents? So if you did that, would that be
we should deport all libertarians to Canada, Alberta to be exactly.
Hey.
I said Alberta.
You can have the North. Alberta. We're taking the
great thing is if you went on vacation, you just switch parties. They send you there. Is that what they do?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of co-equal parties across the world that are relatively close to American style politics.
We were a Christian nation once.
Yeah.
Japan's got
I'm no longer a libertarian anyway.
Party.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you are. You're just not.
I'm a recursive aware realist.
Big L. Yeah. So basically a little L.
Man.
Actually, let's talk about it. What's the difference between libertarianism? Should we completely divorce from Big L?
I
don't think Big L libertarian. Yeah.
I think it's I think it's basically
it's a failed project
for the past 10 years or 20 years. It's what's the lesser of the evils. It's like that's all you got is libertarian party.
No, libertarianism right now is like liberalism was for liberals. They had to rebrand themselves as progressive because the brand was so just destroyed. Right? They needed something new because nobody wanted to defend liberal America anymore. The 90s just destroyed it. So they all started calling themselves progressives. Here we are. Right? That was the rebrand after Bush won twice. Right.
Well, I mean, our history's got a lot of different interpretations of what is, right.
Right.
Old
Point
right,
being,
new right,
libertarianism is like liberal in the 90s. Libertarian.
Yeah.
It's become an epithet, and the whole thing needs a reinvigorated brand, something that's a clean break from the past. I would drop it and change it to something else. Honestly, America Party wouldn't be bad. That would hit the memetics of the moment and be hard to assail from like a hit piece standpoint. You're gonna go against the America Party. What are you, anti-American? Right? Like it's actually not a bad meme. Like, whatever else Elon Musk is, he's a good meme selector.
I'm totally against the Clean Water and New Puppies Act. That's
right.
That's the meme in itself.
I'm so sick of it all.
The USA Patriot Act.
We lost Sean.
Yeah, I was say, where'd he go?
Where did Sean go? We lost him. Oh, brother. Did I might have offended him. I'm joking. I don't know.
He's everyone's favorite friend.
I don't think Sean could pretend to be offended and storm off. It's sort of like watching Trump pretend to be outraged at receiving an obviously relevant question. It just wouldn't be believable.
That is true.
There he is.
I came not
I heard him.
Yeah, I came not to bring peace, but a sword.
Yep. Why do Christians forget about that stuff? It always kind of annoys me. Right?
What is that particular
sola
thing
scriptura? I think the reason we forget about that is like you have certain sects of Christianity within the Protestant realm that has coordinated with dispensationalism, so they're very much aligned with Israel in its state, and its Zionism is the Israel. And then I think the other half of Christians have been too westernized by secularism and liberalism. But Jesus was correct, because he came to not bring peace. We were going to be divided in some capacity.
Well, if you look at the parallels between sort of like the modern progressive church of the state and and Puritanism, you can almost draw a direct line from that particular form of Protestantism to the way that they behave. And if you just switch out science and scientists and global warming, that whole church, you bring that in, you can reconstruct a pretty reliable simulacrum of Christianity devoid of spirituality.
I mean, it's a political struggle session. You get people wore down, and they don't have to. They give up and they say, whatever, just leave me alone. And it's
a very reliably reconstructed false idol.
Are you saying that the dispensationalist evangelicals are actually just the Puritans reformed?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Sense. It makes sense, actually.
The insight emerged from a piece. It's another Yarvin piece that he does, where he talks about how sort of Georgetownism is indistinguishable from Puritanism. Yeah.
I need you to pay a tithe, everybody, for the grace of God, because I need that private jet. I need that private jet today.
Yes.
Right? Because God's power
is
my
Lordy.
Power.
Oh, Lordy. Oh,
how does this work? How in the world? And what happened is are we just basically needing to fix the world until I don't know. I'm not going to go into it. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
That's totally a Pomeranian.
That is definitely a Pomeranian.
It's pretty fun.
I have two of those, so I love those.
Look at this. This is like hellfire out of the off the back deck in our when I lived in Washington. It's like, man, look at that.
Man.
Anyway,
what were you going to say, Joe? Say it.
It's not worth saying. I don't want to offend the wrong people or anything.
Hey, Andrew, do you remember that scene back in the day when you were in Washington? Or were you just in
Seattle? I've never been to Washington.
I thought you were in Washington.
Oh, wait, what? You talk about Washington State? I think you talking about Washington,
D.C.
Yeah,
Washington State.
No, I don't remember that.
Must be a Seattleite.
That's Bellingham.
It's Seattle, Bellingham. Yeah, it's still Bellingham. The same. Greater Seattle.
That's all Seattle.
Greater. It's basically all Seattle. You want to go to the western half of the state where they all want to succeed and go to Idaho.
Other news, did anybody watch the market structure Senate Banking Committee meeting yesterday?
No. I was excited about that. I'm joking. I didn't see that.
Sorry, I'm yeah, okay. I'm a nerd.
Senate Banking Committee. What do you say? Right? What did I miss?
I'm going to go watch it, actually, because I am also a nerd.
Well, no, I mean, to get an idea on YouTube, maybe we can do it tomorrow. Of all the misconceptions, like if you want to get a good idea of the kind of people that are sucking up to this thing, like you got to watch their panel. Their panel's awesome. Because like one of them was definitely the person Liz Warren insisted upon inviting.
Oh God.
And this guy's just like an idiot. Like if you want to see what Gensler stacks up against compared to the sort of co-opt strategy, like the Microsoft approach to open source, right? Just look at the panel, because you've got the CEO of fucking of that blockchain for law enforcement. What's that company called? Chainalysis. That like stuffy British CEO of Chainalysis is sitting right next to this like yokel professor from God knows where, who's spouting off aphorisms that sound like 1920s. He's like going, "This is hooey. kind of thing. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's almost comedy.
Man, I'm just happy that speaking of Elizabeth Warren, I'm just happy that John Deaton is looking like he's pretty well pissed off now about a lot of that stuff. Like he's posting about the Epstein stuff, and it's like, wow, yes,
Good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
everyone in Congress is complicit. That is true.
I'm sorry. That meme before that was kind of bizarre. That's
this
weird.
This one right here.
Yeah, that's actually wow.
That one. This is
higher.
I love this one for a long time
because
it's how it works.
So the Egyptians basically prophesized.
Oh yeah,
things.
Oh yeah,
certain people. Maybe they weren't supposed to be freed.
Look at how much better their emoji sets were.
Yes, they had. Yeah, well, this is probably from 4chan or maybe Reddit today. Who knows? Who knows who made that?
We hit a new all-time high, everybody. Just letting you know.
Is it weird that we are in fact reinventing hieroglyphs with the Unicode emoji set?
Basically,
man. I don't know. I went back to some old ones here because I'd run out of new ones. Oh, this is a long.
You got
time.
the one with the black sheep that's going against all the white sheep, and he's trying to escape them going down a waterfall, basically, or a hole in the ground. That's a good one. Excuse me, pardon me.
This one is awesome, though. I don't know. It's very.
That glitch effect is probably like a pretty decent explanation of what would happen to you if you walked into a black hole. It's sort of spaghettify. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Forget about it.
So are we going away from the Roman memes and going straight to Egypt now?
Just historical ones, and and serial based ones.
Well, the emperor's in here, so when the emperor's away, that means we'll play.
Yep, that's right. That is right.
We need to elect a steward of Gondor.
Oh, this one's weird. Here, this is an interesting one. I forgot about this one. Check this one out. This is interesting. At least I don't know. I've never looked into the actual numbers to know if any of this is true. But
yeah, that doesn't sound exactly right, does it? That sounds way too.
What?
Yeah, that sounds way too round.
Yeah, I'm sure it's rounded. That's the point is, I don't know. You can't say, it's actually it's.
But it's like saying the Earth is a sphere when in reality it's like this.
Well, yeah, but they're not saying that. They're saying there are some pretty interesting.
What are you talking about? That the Earth, those distances.
Greg is telling us that it's flat. He thinks.
No, what I'm saying is the Earth is an oblate spheroid, not a sphere.
Yes, I know. But still, this is still interesting stuff. It's like, okay, some of this geometry is pretty interesting. When it all,
it's just really rare to see exactly round numbers in anything to do with measuring nature.
Well, yeah, everything's going to be Fibonacci or phi-based, right?
Yeah, or something.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Everything is so messed
Robert
up.
Serra is based.
Yeah, is he the? Was he in the? Who was he? One of the ones in the running? I keep hearing conflicting stuff about the new pope. I'm not sure.
Supposedly he was in the running. I don't know if he was actually in the running, but who knows? We don't really know. Is it so? They try to keep that pretty much locked down.
What do you guys think about the what was her name? Who she dated Elon for a while during this time? Had this prophecy thing pop up. She's kind of creepy. What's her name?
Thinking of Amber Heard.
He is into creepy chicks.
No, the one.
I just wanted to name drop that one.
Damn it! What's her name? Grimes. This was a Grimes.
Oh, Grimes.
Yeah.
Grimes is freaking awesome. I love that music.
Yeah. So, but this was either I don't know, it's from an album or from a post or something. But this image was somehow related to her, and it has these weird things about hypodermic needles, and then an alien craft and some Eclipse reference, and I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
You got to be careful with Grimes though, because she does probably seem like the person who'd come up with an augmented reality game to sell tickets to a show. Like it's Resnery.
This is years. This is 2019, right? A long time ago. So,
yeah.
So it wasn't for that, but I don't know what it was for. Who knows? Who the heck knows? This one though, I identify with. And I'm fucking tired of waiting, you guys. One of you just stop with your nonviolent bullshit and let's get some change happening.
I mean, to be fair, Joker was an agorist.
Well, okay, actually, to that point.
But was he anti-violent? Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
I mean, I'm not anti-violent. I'm an agorist, and I'm not anti-violent.
What happens?
Okay, see, so that was the Rook. Sorry, that was the question I had earlier. Okay, so it is not a hard and fast absolute rule, right?
Mm-mm.
Is that right? Okay.
I mean, I think certain violence is justifiable.
Well, yeah, it's about justifiability with violence. If someone is using force on you, and you can defend yourself,
isn't that just human?
I think that's creatorsism. I made up a word. So
the question isn't really
do the Holy Land, everybody.
The question comes back to re-enshrining property rights. Really, the question is, do you own yourself? Right.
Well, I offended Sean.
In our current society, we're building towards a police state. It's a very gradual, subtle implementation, but we're still building towards it.
Doesn't seem all that subtle or slow
new law.
now, does it? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sick of it all. There's just so much stuff in this world. I'm sick of. Where's Sean? Why did Sean leave?
He dropped. I don't know if he just dropped connection again, or
do you remember
what?
the days when it's just fun to make fun of Biden? Coming up on little kids and
there he is.
There he is.
Don't you miss those days?
Off, Greg. Jeez.
Well, what? What did I do?
He's joking.
I don't know.
That's a Sean joke. It was pretty good.
No, I know. I was
I
teasing.
would have done that too.
That's actually my grandpa right there.
Wait, isn't that a scene from the most recent Predator remake?
I believe so. Yeah.
So crazy.
This is another reason why generative AI does good in the world.
This one is very good. I like all of the Sesame Street captioned memes. Almost across the board. So there's some of the best ones out there. Just so you know.
I always like the ones that have to do with Oscar the Grouch, because you get to imply someone lives in a trash can. Those are fantastic.
Well, they always do stuff with the letters and stuff, and some of them are pretty easy, pretty obvious, but they're funny. They're funny, you know? Especially Ernie and Bert one. I know I found one. I haven't seen it.
Dude, it's also a government-funded meme.
I think Google has hidden it from us, but there is one where I'll have to find it. I'll show it next week. All right. I'll show it now. Do you remember this? I mean, this is a blast from the past. I can't remember what year it was.
I don't think I've ever seen that one.
You don't?
Like 2015, right?
Yeah, I might be able to find the actual. I might be able to find the actual of it, but in the meantime, you can watch this.
Yeah, nice.
Meet George Jetson.
So weird.
It's pretty weird.
Anyway, are we done? I don't know. It's like an hour and a half, but I think we got all the questions. We went through our job was to get through the questions, right? The next set was the current events. I think we covered all that. It's just
we haven't really talked about let's check back in on the dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that real quick. All right. I'm pulling it up. 1 second. Let me refresh. We did have one little bug this morning that I apologize if anybody saw it.
Pomeranian again. No, I'm teasing.
Yes. Okay. So I will refresh just so we can see that it's 40 refresh. There's still only one hatching, and it's 2 hours, 59 minutes, right? How could it be? It's probably because there hasn't been a Bitcoin block in that amount of time. Theoretically. I don't know. This one's going to be cool, though, because it's Earth, or sorry, it is Earth Magic, but it's a fire dragon. It's going to be cool. I think. I hope it's a really pretty one.
I hope it ends up breathing magma. That sounds cool.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. That'd be cool.
And I don't think there were any new spawns either. Dragon Chain still has to spawn it, so I haven't had time to do that. Sean, did you spawn yours?
No, I went to check earlier and it wouldn't let me. So
why? Why wouldn't it let you?
It said something about Joe's messing with your dragon egg.
Man, I would say, and I would say, if Sean can't log into 109 websites,
it just says unused.
Unused. Yeah, it means you can use it if it's unused. You have to go to the spawn page, man. You want to do it live? Share your screen.
It's a good idea.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Do it. All right, I will. I
was like, how's it there already? But that's not me. That's you. Okay.
Yeah, no. The key was
right.
is there. So now we get to see. Sean's gonna roll.
So what's the over under on which season or which house?
Yeah, we saw.
Born
Okay,
into?
I think that Sean is going to get. I think he's going to get fire. Is he going to get fire? What would he get? What would Sean?
I think Sean gets water.
I could see water. Yeah, water and water. Water's. By the way, something a little secret. The water ones do tend to be really cool colored, and I like blue, and I can see blue, so maybe that was why I think that. But
yeah, but
I generated
Sean
some
strikes me as
y'all can see me doing this, right? No, why aren't you sharing it, man?
I haven't seen it yet. Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know it was there. Okay, all right. Now we know.
There we go.
Do it, man.
All right.
I have a feeling you will make the Fire Clan very proud.
Oh, look. All right.
So you select that and then you hit apply.
Ready, Freddy.
Right on.
Boom.
Here we go. My screen's too small. I can't see it very well.
One more step.
Here we go. Do.
Boom.
You ready?
And we have a theory that you wait until the bubbles, which are the spirits of other dragons, are behind your card, and then you click reveal.
There you go.
That's just a theory, though.
There's some stragglers.
Earth.
Yeah, that looks good.
Hey, housemates.
Earth. Oh yeah, you're Earth also, aren't you? Right.
Yeah, Earth are both mine.
Right.
Earth. Okay.
Earth. 48. Oh, 250K. Okay.
Hey, you got low density.
Sure
That's nice.
You sure you didn't steal from Hogwarts? Hufflepuff. Earth is Hufflepuff.
Good deal. And now we can go. If you go to community page, so you can see. Okay, you have the two NFTs.
Earth
now.
dragons would have control over gravity, though.
The two assets.
It's
whatever
a
they are.
cool looking egg, man, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do I get eggs?
It's pretty cool, man.
That egg is cool looking.
Was I too late to the party?
Maybe we could do come on the show and then you guys.
You have some keys, man.
Yeah.
I think I was too late. Yeah, I think I was too late to the party.
Yeah.
We still have a few to give away, so we could do something on. I don't know if your guys' show might be a little too serious to. I'm joking. You might. I'm joking.
I don't know. Tomorrow.
You guys reach a lot of gamers, right?
Yeah.
Or people who care about games, at least.
I have no clue.
I bet so.
What is
Maybe.
It's so funny.
I have no clue.
Gamers like truth.
Air and fire is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
looks neat.
Water
is kind of badass. That is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want serious, tune in tomorrow at 11 when we watch the Senate Banking Committee.
Oh, it's the perfect time to reveal dragon eggs.
That'd be funny. You should have that playing in the background. That would actually be a good stream, Greg, for an idea where you have a game. You're actually streaming a game, but in the background is the Senate Banking Committee.
Yeah.
Or whatever's on it at the time, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
man,
Dude.
we'll get called a genius like Sam Bankman-Fried.
Oh God.
Mm.
Let's hope not.
I'm sorry. That's funny. All right. Hey, here's something that I don't know if you guys know. So this thing was this weird prophecy. Well, it's a weird. It's something out of the Bible, out of Revelation. But there's something related to something that happened in September of 2017. Do you guys know this thing? And the only reason that I
really
about it is
vaguely
that
familiar.
NASA blocked out a portion of the sky that ended up, it looks like Pepe, sort of like extra jokes on top of it. But they blocked out that portion of the sky during that little window of time, and they went to other satellite. I don't know where they got this from. It was different spectrum, maybe. And it turns out to have this weird looking, it looks like a cartoonish monster, but it's supposed to be the dragon coming. And the freaking craziest thing in my opinion about it is this is right before Dragon Chain launched too. And I didn't even realize that until like much later. I'm like, oh crap. I should have timed it. We were released on the 23rd of September.
Talk about
to fit in better with the prophecy or something, but I always thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, whatever, you guys, there's stuff.
That is neat.
Yeah. You got the SEC chairman thing, or commissioners and chairman. What's his name? Wasn't a chairman, right? Who's the guy on the top? Hinman, right? Is it Hinman? Am I right? It's been so long.
Him? Yeah.
It's been so long.
So one interesting thing from that committee meeting was Senator Loomis reading into the record her brief summation of cypherpunk philosophy. She said, marks one of the very, very first times I've ever heard or found in the official record of congressional testimony any reference to the name cypherpunk. Not for years.
That's good.
So there's something weird about that to me. Considering an otherwise practiced exercise in media silence.
Yep. Man. Well,
worth watching just to see that and see what you make of it, because there's something weird going on there.
I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to watch stuff I want to watch.
Right.
Watch that. Our government is like it's I don't know. It's like a tree in the forest, maybe.
Yeah, they hide all the evil in the.
If anybody's watching it, are they screwing us over still? It's like philosophically, they're not screwing us over if we're not watching them, right?
Oh no, they're totally still screwing us over.
You're just not watching it.
Question is, what can you learn about maybe how?
Yeah,
You're just looking in the wrong room.
Do y'all know about the Greenbrier Hotel?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. I was supposed to go to an event there once, and I didn't get to go because I was sick. But there was an event when I was.
About the bunker though. You know about the huge bunker?
Yeah. I knew people who worked there too. Yeah.
Yep.
So they got the huge bunker that is right outside Washington. Blah 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 blah. Do you know?
It's not outside of Washington. It's not right outside of Washington. It's quite a freaking ways away.
But so that they came out. Everybody knows about it, talks about it. Blah blah blah. But they shut it down. They decommissioned it.
Yep.
Do you know what day they did that on?
Probably 9/11 or something.
No, the same day that the Denver airport opened.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's like Facebook.
Interesting.
Or what was Facebook? What was it actually called? DARPA project. Come on, you guys know. What is it?
Oh, you're thinking of Maven?
No.
Or was that Google? No, that was Google.
No, that's I think Maven is
LifeLog.
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry
Lewis. That's Maven.
LifeLog was shut down. The DARPA project was shut down the same day that they launched Facebook. Or
that was a pretty funny joke.
I missed it.
I said no. Maven was Jerry Lewis.
Oh, bazing.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I thought it was a good joke, Sean.
Thank you, Greg.
I don't get it.
Well, are we done? You want to stop? What do you guys think? Oh, here, this one's a pretty good one.
I believe it's in West Virginia, White Sulphur Springs.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Southern West Virginia.
Yeah. That's funny.
I feel like there's something we're gonna get done with the show if we stop current events 20 minutes early, and we're gonna be pissed that we didn't talk about it. It might have even happened while we were watching.
That's how it always is, man.
We should look at a quick headline and
pretense of knowledge.
Where do you go for
just
news,
to see if there's anything happened that we're going to care about that we'll have to wait till next week to talk about if we don't say it now. Let's see.
Let's double check the Drudge report.
No, it's my secret RSS feed.
Is Drudge report still there? Was it bought by the Chinese? I can't remember what happened with that.
Who knows?
I think I had to go off to buy the White House. They ripped off the whole model.
Look at this one. Have you guys ever looked this one up? It's very interesting. I suggest you guys look it up just because it is really weird, interesting.
Ooh, this is kind of bizarre. Did you guys see the major rare earth find just got bought by the government? 50% owner.
Really?
In MP Materials.
Well, we're not going to get Ukraine. Is that? Maybe this is the consolation, or
no? This is already in our territory.
Oh, I know that, but it's probably owned by people that are now dead. Isn't that what they usually do?
Is it?
Is that how it works?
Have you all watched the podcast Deshaun Ryan with Hoskins?
No.
No. Is that Senate Banking Committee also?
No, it looks like Hoskinson's some kind of mega freaking super genius. He's talking about crypto. He's talking about crypto, but he's talking about like aliens and all this like just crazy stuff I've seen in clips. But it's Lisa said it's like a 5-hour interview. It's a crazy long podcast. So
yeah. I can't even watch Rogan for that anywhere.
Oh yeah.
So, even if it's somebody I want to, it's like, oh, I want to see, I really don't want to see it that bad. I'm done. Like 2X wasn't enough. It's like, yeah, all right. It's just too much annoying stuff, right? But
5 hours and 4 minutes.
It is. If I was, wow.
Here, we'll end with this. How about that? This is how we'll end today.
Yeah,
this will be good.
Not with a bang, but whimper.
Yeah.
All right.
That's adorable.
Anything else to cover? I will tell you though, when I first saved this years ago, Google wouldn't let me.
Now I want a chick. I want a puppy and a chick now.
Really? Huh.
I got one more thing I can tell you that I learned this week.
What's that?
Dude, teach us something.
So, I don't know if you know this president, his name's JFK. That's not his name, his initials. He got assassinated. And then they had this big investigation. And everyone in the investigation was lockstep in voting on talking about what happened. But there was one guy who was a dissenter and was like, what are you guys talking about? Did we not see the same information? That's not what happened. Now, hold on that. Remember that. So there was this kid, and he went to Princeton. First month there, he got arrested for sexual assault. His name was William Clinton, and the charge seemed to go away. But anyway, go back to this guy now, who was a dissenter. He had to take a flight, and he was driven there by this kid named Bill Clinton, and then he disappeared. And
it's creepy, isn't it?
Now I'm seeing that's when they started it. That's when they got him. Is when he went to Princeton.
Yeah, who did it though? Who did it though? And when they found the passports on the stretcher, I'm joking.
Passport man.
Yeah, always a passport.
But that
for
was
one of the establishment parties to endorse you, you have to do something.
When they owned him, they're like, "Hey, we'll fix this charge," and you work for us.
Yep.
The conspiracy of silence is often best maintained with blackmail. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
that's
a horrible world. Yeah. All right. That was a good show. That was fun. We need more questions next time, guys. More questions. But it's all right.
There's also, I suppose we should also mention the fact that Roman Storm's trial starts in 4 days.
Yep.
We need to do our best as a space to make a spectacle of that, because the outcome of that case really could be the make or break for how open source code works in relationship with the government.
Where is that at?
Also, we didn't talk about.
It's in Eastern District of New York.
Oh, is it?
Oh, the 10,000 Bitcoin that were moved.
That's right.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a bad jurisdiction.
Billions of Bitcoin were moved.
They're trying him in the district. They'd try Snowden if they dragged him back.
I don't know. They were moved, and then I sent you the Trump post that says Roger Ver just gave us 10,000 Bitcoin, which Roger Ver is a great man. Which I said I sent it to Roger. I was like, this would be cool. Hopefully we can will it into existence. But I thought it was pretty funny. But I thought it was no one's really talking about the 10,000 Bitcoin move, which is
they don't want to.
No.
Bizarre. It is bizarre.
That's dangerous because they don't know who owns it.
Well, and you're not supposed to move your damn Bitcoin, right? Isn't it? Bitcoin now is like gold. You're not supposed to be moving it. You're supposed to keep your Bitcoin where it is. You're not supposed to use it for anything, and you're just supposed to hold it. And it gives you apparently the rights to put laser eyes on your profile picture on various social media. That is the utility that Bitcoin now has for all times in the future, right? Anyway,
sounds like the Constitution.
It does. Yeah, the utility of the Constitution. All right. Well, hey, thanks, guys. What do we want to cover real quick? Sean, what's going on this week? You had a show. I think you just had a really good show.
You have a really good interview announcement with my best buddy Joe Rotes. It was fun. We talked about Dracaria and it was coming out and everything. Actually, I posted that the video or a link to the video, and I post on Twitter. But if you go and comment on it, you can register to win a key. A Genesis key.
Someone's gonna win a Genesis key.
So I don't know when y'all are gonna do that. We could do it like on Monday or something. Let everybody have the weekend to go.
Yeah, to watch it and post it, and or to say something snarky, and yep. And we'll pick from it. The guys know. They just I thank you for posting that, and we'll do that, and we'll let everybody know. And Zach, what's up?
Just enjoy the show tomorrow at 11. We'll have something for you. YouTube and Rumble and X, and then tune in on Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern because we have another show for you. So special editions,
spicy.
It's all spicy. So
right on, Andrew.
I'm going to use my time to shout out Kiss Crypto, who left a comment. He says, "Howdy, hillbillies." Hey, Kiss, what's going on?
Right on. Look at that.
You going to say it, Andrew? Say this as well.
What?
There's a mug.
The legacy right?
Never mind. You can
Either
get that.
The Constitution
you can get that
has authorized the government as we have had, or it is powerless to prevent it. In either case,
no, man, you can buy it if you want it.
Yeah, the Constitution didn't work. I think that's the main thing that we can all agree on, right?
It didn't work. Get the cup, everybody.
So
$20.
All right, Greg,
read my book. That's all I'm telling people. It is now officially listed on a site called Libertarian Media and Literary Criticism, maintained by a professor of Italian, of all things, who got her PhD back in 87, I think. Cool person. Right in the middle of the hornet's nest, right in Colombia. So that's out there now. So go check it out there, or just hit me up on X and I'll send you a copy. Or you can get the audiobook for free, just like I think it's pinned to the top of my head, or you can just listen to it from end to end.
What accent is the audiobook in? The
audiobook is it's 3 voices. It's It's based on Orson Welles, Tony Jay, and Hugo Weaving in V for Vendetta.
I think you should have done an ASMR audiobook or something. Attracted other people to. I'm joking. And
I'm gonna put it in. The Uwu version is coming soon.
There you go. Are we to expect that you're going to run for office now?
Fuck no.
Sorry, I was joking.
The Criterion Collection is on sale. That's another thing. It's on Amazon, 50% off. But talking about Greg was just talking about, we got The Princess Bride, and one of the special features, it's not just a commentary, they have that, but it's Rob Reiner reading the audiobook or doing the audiobook synced up to the movie.
Nice.
So yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's bizarre. That'd be okay. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think it's cool.
It'd be better for
also, Sean. I just commented on your post, so
it was Carrie Elvis or however how do you say his name? By the way, how do you say Carrie? Is it Elwes or Elvis or
Elvis?
Elvis. Okay. Yeah. If it was him, it'd be better, I think. Or if it was what's her name from?
Yeah, they have that in commentary. But it's,
No, I'm saying if he was Rob Reiner is kind of, I don't know if I'd want to hear him very, very long. Anyway, Meathead, right?
Meathead, yeah, I was thinking just Meathead.
Anyway, and what's the gal's name who was the princess that later was in the DC show, which I can't remember, House of Cards.
I watched it with my grandkids on the 4th. And it was very, very uncomfortable when she was going to kill herself. And he said,
right.
No, there's shortage of perfect breasts in the world. I was like,
you look at the Hollywood people. And it's worse than that. It's like, okay, yeah, here I am. You have to introduce your kids to suicide with this. Oh, I forgot about this. And the fact that she keeps wanting to kill herself over and over again. I was like, come on. What kind of writing is this? Anyway, whatever.
It's like, I'm going to kill myself. Okay, dear.
All right, we get it. Jeez. Man.
I died that day.
They did love Andre the Giant. They're like, my granddaughter's like, that's a real person? Like, yeah, he's a guy. It's like, that's
Andre the Giant's awesome.
It's like, this is before special effects. That's a regular guy.
Yep.
I didn't tell her. I have a funny story about Andre the Giant, but I can't tell her. My friend, we were little kids. We really were into wrestling. He got to meet Andre the Giant, but he was little. So there's like a huge crowd, and he was shoved in Andre the Giant's penis, in his crotch, and like Andre's trying to walk. Everyone just keeps pushing him, and he's like, that was his.
That's lovely.
Yeah, we used to make fun of him a lot for that.
All right, so mine, I didn't get to say, go register an account on Dracaria.com. Even if you make a comment on Sean's video, if you don't have an account on Dracaria.com, it's not gonna work. You aren't gonna get it. So I would suggest post the name, like maybe the display name of your account on Dracaria.com. Or maybe not that. Maybe your email address that you've registered with.
As long as you have,
as
long as you have messages open, you can just message them.
Is this all only on Twitter, or is it on YouTube and Twitter? I'm a little worried about that.
I put it all just on Twitter.
Okay, good. That's better because
I said that in the interview, and then I put the post in the description. So anyone that says anything about it in the comments, I direct them to the Twitter post.
Excellent. So if you just reply to it with whatever, you can be entered, but make sure you have an account, and because the other podcasts that we're going to do that on, we will probably do the giveaway just from the people that are registered, so we'll see though. Anyway, thank you so much, and we will talk to you guys soon. All right.
Hey, we made it almost 2 hours. See you guys.
Yeah. See you next week.